in the saddle again. The Packers and the Browns pull out victories on Sunday. That's a happy Cole and that's a happy Kyle. Welcome into MnM Going Deep. Review of week 3, preview of week 4. As always, host Kyle McCumber and my co-host Cole Mueller.
Yes, sir.
Well, all right, let's just kick it off with first down. You want to just get right into this?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to. A lot happened, a lot of
Lot.
close games, a lot of not close games, and that's what I think is probably the most telling of what we're seeing out of teams through 3 weeks in the NFL season.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start.
A lot of stinkers and a lot of duds. A lot of teams look to be unproven. We'll start on Thursday. San Francisco 30, New York Giants 12.
Yeah, and from what I saw watching that, it was the Niners just have a team where even if they don't have everything clicking on all cylinders, or they got some injuries, Ayuk out of the game, not playing, they're going to be able to run the ball, and they're a mistake prone. No, not prone to mistakes. Team.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
They
They don't
have
make mistakes.
they have several different ways they can beat you. They can either run the ball straight down your throat with Christian McCaffrey, or they can dink and dump with McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, or they'll take it over the top. Like they have several ways that they can beat you, and their defense is good too.
That's
Uh,
yeah. They can play low scoring defensive football game.
yeah, and then everybody questions Brock Purdy. Oh, is Brock Purdy good? Well, yeah, he came out a little rusty, but got the job fucking done. A W is a W in the win column, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, Giants still they look like they're a long ways away from where they were last season, especially at the end of the year, where Daniel Jones wins a playoff game. Like they don't look anywhere near a playoff caliber team. But the good thing about it is it's week 3, and Cowboys got a loss. Who knows? Maybe the Buccaneers get a win over the Eagles tonight.
Yeah,
It's not a
it's not over.
impossible. Yeah, it's not impossible for them to overcome. But then going right into the
How
next match.
much? How much
Go
do you
ahead.
think that game changes with Barkley on the field?
Not much.
Not much. I just thought that it maybe like the Giants could have a couple more scores because there was times where they moved the ball and then just like fucking stop, like got like spelled out or whatever. But I thought that having Barkley, there would be a slight change to how that game played out. But
Yeah, I
you
still
know,
give him a double-digit loss with Barkley. I don't think he does that much for them just because running backs and the impact, especially against a
true.
really good defense like the Niners. Okay, next game, Colts, Ravens. Colts, Matt Gay, 450-plus yard field goals and one to win in overtime. That was a unique game. I only got to see, just the bare bones highlights of this one, but from what it looked like, it was like that was a Gardner Minshew magic.
Yep, Minshew
Yeah.
mania.
So as I'm looking, Zach Moss, 30 carries, 122 yards.
Yeah,
That's He's coming out of nowhere. I mean, obviously,
he was in Buffalo and then was behind Cook and Singletary for years. And they make the trade last year between Zach Moss and Nyheim Hines. Now he gets a chance to star with Jonathan Taylor being on the pup. And is Jonathan Taylor even going to come back?
I think he's on the trade block. I think he's just waiting for a team that really needs a running back,
Desperate.
aka the Packers, or the Browns. But the Browns got Hunt, so
I don't think so. I think the Browns. I think are going to roll with Jerome Ford. But yeah, Gardner Minshew played well. Got a nice win for Steichen, his first win, and then it doesn't even have Anthony Richardson in the game, and they end up winning. Zay Flowers, another fucking amazing game out of him. Heavy dose. He only had 48 yards, but he had 8 receptions on 10 targets. And then at the
yeah,
end of the game, he was the one that it looked like a pass interference call. Refs don't throw the flag, then the Colts end up with the ball back, and then Matt Gay hits the game-winning kick, and the rest is history. Baltimore falls to 2-1, and Colts 2-1.
yeah. Going into the next game, Titans Browns. Browns 27-3. Kyle, what'd you see?
Deshaun Watson, if he doesn't throw the ball backwards, he's good, right? 27 to 33 on passing, 289 yards. He went over his yard total if you're a prop better. I think it was 227 and a half is what his line was, so getting 289 and then 2 touchdowns, which should have been 3 if you didn't see the whole Amari Cooper getting called out of bounds when he's clear as day, not out of bounds. Play gets called back, and then the Browns only end up getting a field goal. But I think the biggest thing out of this game, besides Watson having a good game, is the Browns defense is legitimate. Holy shit. Only letting up 94 yards to the Titans, holding Derrick Henry to 20 yards. And then there's clips of him on the sideline murmuring to himself, like, holy shit, like he got fucked up in that game. And
What,
then
Derrick Henry?
yeah, and Myles Garrett, they could not stop him. He was all over the field. And then there was a highlight of him. There were 2 tight ends set up in front of him,
Yeah.
and he decided to go to the other side of the field. The tight ends followed him, so he then went to the other side of the field. They followed him back, and it caused a delay of game for the Titans.
Yeah.
That's how much they were trying to put in his path in order to stop him. But Brown's defense looks fucking legit, which that's exciting. Takes a little bit of pressure off Deshaun Watson, and then also and not having Nick Chubb. That's pretty nice. But like I said, I think they're going to roll with Jerome Ford. I would think it falls more into a 50-50 split with Hunt if he ends up getting back up to speed. But
well, then you said last week you actually thought the Titans would you thought for sure, like with Vrabel and everything, you just thought the way the Browns history is, you thought for a fact the Titans were just going to run it down the Browns' throats and come out with like a last drive victory over the Browns. But not at all like what happened. I think the biggest thing is I think everyone knows the defense in the Browns is fucking legit. I mean, that was very dominant, maybe not that dominant, but Deshaun Watson playing well for probably the first time in the Browns uniform. Like when I say well, like not like average, like he actually played good football.
he only missed 6 passes.
Yeah. And so I think that's really what you're like excited about as a Browns fan. Is like if Deshaun Watson can sling it around like he did in Houston, you don't need a really good running back.
Nope.
Deshaun Watson did it with fucking scraps at Houston.
Yeah, his biggest target was DeAndre Hopkins, but Amari Cooper's not that far off from DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, Amari Cooper's doing it, and but Donovan Peoples-Jones is not a bad number 2.
Elijah Moore
is not a bad 3.
David Njoku.
David Njoku is one of the most freak players you can find. Like he's like a freaking Kyle Pitts, except just 3 inches shorter and can jump higher. I don't know, but anyways, besides the point, Browns definitely look great for where they're excited about where they're at, looking around the prospects of the AFC. And I don't think a lot of Browns fans really thought they would be contenders this year, but you look at them so far and you're not putting too many teams in the AFC ahead of them right now. Broncos, Dolphins, speaking of what team to put ahead of them, Dolphins look like the best offense in the NFL that we've seen in the last 10 years, since Peyton Manning and the fucking 2014 Broncos. I'd say this is like the best looking offense through 3 weeks of the football season.
Yeah, you have Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert in the backfield and Tyreek Hill on the side or split outside. Apparently, well, I saw the stat. All 3 of them are the 3 highest speeds that were clocked this week.
Yeah,
that's a lot of speed on an offense. But then their defense and their special teams played well too. You don't put up 70 without defense and special teams playing well. But wow, I think the biggest thing out of this is Broncos are bad.
Yeah, and I love to see quickly on this one. I love to see that. I'm not a Sean Payton anti fan, but I am a Nathaniel Hackett fan as a Packers fan, and I would say that Sean Payton should be eating his words right now for all the shit talk he gave about the coaching staff of the Broncos before he showed up. Shut up and coach and deal with what you have in the moment. And I think he's really looking like a fucking idiot.
He's really frustrated. The way he was answering reporters at the end of the game, like that, he is frustrated. And it would not surprise me if he pulls the plug on Russell Wilson because he is not tied to him. He's like that is not Sean Payton's guy. It would not surprise me that Russell Wilson becomes trade bait or is sitting on the bench. The only thing that is going to hurt them is the fact that that contract is just so bad. And that's going to be so hard to move if you try to trade him.
Yeah.
And then the Broncos defense is bad.
Yeah, which I thought was going to be very good this year.
Yeah,
So I'll fucking slap myself. They don't have not they do have talent,
they do.
but it's NFL and every team does, it seems. We'll go to the next game, Patriots Jets.
Stinker.
Yeah, I think that was a huge must win as a Patriots
Oh yeah.
fan, and that they needed that win. And it sucks because you look at the Jets and like all the hype and the magical fairy tale season they were going to have this year, and now you look at them and it's just kind of like the thing reverse of the Browns. The Browns, not saying that they weren't excited about the season. I'm sure Browns fan
I
had a
think
lot
Browns
of
fans were more nervous for the season because it could have gone, it can go one
yeah,
or way or the other way with
yeah.
being a Browns fan. Everybody on the Jets fandom was riding cloud nine.
And as they should have been. And
Yeah.
I still don't think it's all is lost for the Jets. I know a lot of people were going to say when they looked at the Jets season this year, they were going to go 1-4 to start the first 5 games of the season,
Mm-hmm.
but they still had the Jets making the playoffs because their first 5 to 6 game stretch for the Jets is brutal. And
Yeah.
then what happens is I mean, like it's not going to get any easier. What is it?
They play the Chiefs on
Chiefs
Sunday Night
next week.
Football.
Yeah. Chiefs next week, and that's terrible. Who
Dude,
wants to watch that game on Sunday
that's
Night
like what we
Football?
were talking about last week is like they come out with the slate and then all of a sudden like an injury or two happens and it completely goes the opposite direction of how they were thinking. Like
Yeah,
this is a stinker of a game now
yeah,
because who the fuck wants to watch Zach Wilson play the Chiefs defense? Like you saw what they did to Justin Fields yesterday. They demolished him.
yeah,
And then like the Patriots like aren't world beaters this year, and they made him look horrible.
yeah,
2.8 yards per play for the entire Jets offense. Wide receiver Garrett Wilson was barely found on the day with 5 receptions for 48 yards. Like you have weapons on that team. Brees Hall, Dalvin Cook, and the fuck, man. 10 points and
yeah,
you're at home. Like uh the only thing that I got from the Patriots though is like, you pull out a win, but you've also won 15 fucking times in a row against the Jets. Like,
yeah.
does that really count for that much? I mean, yeah, it must. It's like a moral victory, and it's nice to have one in
They're
the
0-2.
win.
That was their first win of the season.
Yeah, it's nice to put one in the win column, but what does it really mean? Because it's the Jets. The Jets could easily be 0-3 instead of 1-2.
But that's the thing, the beauty about the NFL. We're not looking for sexy wins and
Yeah,
hot wins that you get in college football. This isn't. We're not in NCAA. Every win is just as important as another. And obviously,
yep.
division wins mean more. This one specifically. But again, moving on, speeding this first down up. Buffalo and Washington, 37-3. Another kicker. They didn't get 3 points till the very end of the game. Sam Howell, 4 interceptions. He was sacked 9 times. That just looked like
They got their ass handed to them.
yeah. And so we're not saying that the like Commanders are still 2-1. They're
Yeah,
not out of it. But you look at their team and kind of like I was just saying about the Cowboys, like or the Giants. I mean, the Cowboys lose, Eagles could lose tonight. Commanders lost. Like everything doesn't look as like dominant
not as
up there in the NFC
bleak.
East. NFC East is not the most dominant conference in my
Yeah.
opinion as what it was last year.
Yeah,
But
we were riding high on the Cowboys heading into this week, but
yeah,
Bills just looked really good and that defense looked good. But also you're playing Sam Howell, so like what another one, like what does that really mean?
yeah. All right, going into Falcons Lions at Detroit. Detroit 20-6. felt like this game was never even really a game. It was just consistently the only time Jared Goff made a mistake, they bounce back, get a good 3-and-out stop on defense, and drive down the field, score a touchdown the next drive.
Yeah, and of
Seems like
course it was Jesse Bates that had the interception too. That's his third in three games.
yeah. And so I'm looking at the Lions offense and that whole team, and it just seems like they're playing smart, complementary, disciplined football. And
And their
it might
draft picks, their draft picks from this year's draft really showed up. Like Jack Campbell, I think, had like 9 tackles yesterday. Jahmyr Gibbs had like 82 yards rushing. And Sam Laporta looks like probably one of the better tight ends that came out of the draft because Kincaid hasn't showed much and Michael Mayer hasn't shown much.
Luke Musgrave, though.
Yeah, if Luke Musgrave caught that fucking pass in the beginning of the game, his stats would look a lot better. But also,
nothing to do with him though.
Jordan Love has to plant his feet, man.
He was 30 yards open for a touchdown. But whatever.
But this is a game where exactly what we talked last week. Like Desmond Ridder, man, that's the difference. Like Desmond Ritter's not good. You got to do something better there, Falcons, because you have the pieces around him with Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Like, there's absolutely no reason Desmond Ridder should be your fucking quarterback. Taylor Heineke would probably be more impressive out there.
Yeah, I agree. I actually do agree with that.
Aiden Hutchinson looks like a beast too for the fucking Lions defense.
Yeah. So Lions 2-1. They look like they're probably the clear favorites. I know I think it's right now it's at 1.5-point favorite coming into Thursday Night Football against the Packers, but I would take the Lions on a -4.5 against the Packers right now. But anyways, Saints and Packers, next game we have 17-0 in the first half, all the way up until midway through the fourth quarter. Packers get a field goal, come back, score a touchdown, 8 points, 17-11, get that last touchdown. Made Romeo Dobbs.
Why you go for 2?
Yeah, I agree. And I've listened. Here's my thing. I trust our coaching staff and I trust the people that make those decisions way more than me in most times. And because guess what? We can be a Monday armchair quarterback every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that kind of as a pun, but for real. It seems like if that would have not happened, Matt LaFleur is like fighting for his job. And he's not fighting for his job, but you would see so much hate towards him. But that won the game for them.
Because you're not playing to tie the game. You're playing to win the game.
Yes. Now, I listened to the press conference and the post game. Matt LaFleur, obviously he's in good spirits because they just won and he was emotional. He's like crying, but he mentioned he's like at that call, he wasn't the one trying to go for 2. It was his fucking an analytics department. The guy,
what did I say?
In his ear, go for 2, go for 2, go for 2.
You go. When you're down
Matt LaFleur even picked a call. The call they made on the play. He's like, I didn't even like the call, and I was second guessing it the entire time. Yeah.
So but when you're down 14, you go for 2. Why? If you miss, you have a chance on your next touchdown. If you get it, to go for 2. And the odds of you going for 2-point conversions, like getting it and not getting it, is about 50-50. Yeah. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not so, but that was good. That basically, to go back into more of the game, the Saints, they're gonna say, and this is all you're hearing about. You're gonna say it's because Derek Carr, but like if you look at the Packers, 5 of their best 6 players were out of this game. And Devondre Campbell, one of those other best players, the only top 8 player they had that was
Sean Gary.
And he had 3 sacks. He showed the fuck up.
3 big sacks.
Yeah. But you're just looking at that team and they were demolished. And I see the same. We're not going to have, I would bet we don't have Aaron Jones, maybe not Christian Watson, Jair Alexander, all these guys, Jay Bakhtiari, Ellen Jenkins. They're not going to play for Thursday night either.
When's your bye week?
We have a bye week. So we play Thursday night this week. And then we play Monday Night Football the following week. And then that following week, we have a bye.
Damn.
So it's an early bye, but it's almost like not early enough. But we also don't want it to be too early. It's weird. But anyways.
That might come at like the perfect time for you guys, just with these injuries that you're kind of getting riddled with. But I will say one thing. Jordan Love looked cool under pressure, man.
Yeah, I like what he's got so far. I'm not going to complain. Moving along, we got Texans Jaguars, another quarterback that we're all kind of impressed with. 20 for 30, 280 plus yards,
My
two
guy.
touchdowns. CJ Stroud looks like an NFL quarterback, and he looks like you is right
Yep.
now. And I don't think Bryce Young is getting. People are going to compare CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, and I still am on team Bryce Young. I just think it's a situation where Bryce Young is being put in a much worse situation. I think Houston, you like what they have, and you look at it before then, you're like, all right, Houston doesn't have weapons, but
I think
that
the
offense is making it work.
I think one of the worst things for Bryce Young too is the Panthers traded away picks in order to get up to that spot to draft him. So now that you're losing more, you're not going to have that draft pick to get a weapon for a Bryce Young. You're not going to have a pick to get to share up the offensive line. Like that's like the bad thing about trading up that far into the draft to get your quarterback. You now have to wait not 1 year but 2 years in order to get those picks back. And they traded a lot of picks away for that.
Yeah,
So that's why like I kind of like lean towards the Texans doing a better job with Stroud because Texans had two number one overall picks this year. Both of them look like studs, fucking Stroud and Anderson. And then they still have the Browns pick for this year because of the
yeah.
Watson trade. Texans could be scary in a couple of years with if they
Well,
hit on these picks.
yeah. Well, and speaking of kind of the prospects of the division, Jacksonville was by far like the favorite to come
Yep.
away with the AFC South, and by like far for any team to win their division outright out of the 8 divisions. And now you look at the Colts are 2-1 and they're at top. It's 3 weeks into the season. I don't
And
think the
Jacksonville
Jags.
struggled with Indy in week
Yeah,
one.
yeah, and I mean, I don't think again it's early on in the season. I still I'll take that offense and I'll take that Trevor Lawrence
Trevor
in
Lawrence,
that
Doug
division.
Peterson. Yep.
I'm not worried about the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that was a we all just think Houston and Arizona are the two worst teams in the NFL, right? Houston
Mm,
and Arizona, everyone thought were the worst two teams coming in this year, and right now two big wins that they both
yeah.
had.
And then also a little wrinkle in this game. Did you see that fullback return the kickoff for a touchdown? Apparently, he was like the heaviest
Yeah,
player to ever return a kickoff for a touchdown.
Andrew
That's a little,
Beck.
yeah, that's for you know, us fat boys. But yeah, no, CJ Stroud looks legit. Tank Dell too. That wide receiver that they drafted looked really good.
Yeah. Going in the next game, Chargers, Vikings, Chargers 28 pull away from the Vikings. Uh, I don't I didn't get to watch much of this game. Obviously, it looks like it was a shootout and teams were just soaring down the field. Chargers without Austin Eckler look like they need help. Mike Williams out for the year. That's tough. Looks like the Chargers are having a Chargers moment again where
Yeah,
they just
all
things
get
don't go
injured.
right for them. Yeah, so you hate to see that. Um,
They got they did draft Quentin Johnson out of TCU this past year for this exact reason for when Mike Williams or Keenan Allen gets hurt. And Keenan Allen is on pace to like shatter records with how many receptions he's getting each
yeah,
week.
18 receptions, 215
Yeah.
yards.
He's like the only player in NFL history to have over 18 receptions in 3 games. But no, Keenan Allen is having a great season. You're right with Eckler. They do need him to come back. Herbert looked great, had over 300 yards again. This game came down to the final seconds where Kirk is in the red zone and then the ball gets tipped and ends up in the Chargers' hands. And
Yeah,
sometimes, like we said, and sometimes it doesn't need to be pretty to win. It's just a win in the fucking
yeah.
column. Now now the Vikings should be biting their nails a little bit because now they go from 11-1 last year with one score games, and now to start this season they're 0-3 in one score games. And this is the last season of Kirk Cousins' contract.
I
Does
still
it
think the Vikings
do the
Vikings are
wheels
very
come
much
off?
no, I think the Vikings right the ship and I think they will. And unfortunately, for as a Packers fan, I think they're gonna be just fine. Um,
They do get an easy game this week with the Panthers, and the Panthers still have to play Andy Dalton because Bryce is still hurt.
yeah. Carolina at Seattle. 27-37. Seattle looks good. Kenneth Walker played really well. Geno Smith played from what I saw. I didn't watch I just saw highlights, but from throughout the game, people were saying Geno Smith
Yeah, he
on
was.
ESPN and shit played well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like the Seahawks are pretty much the same team and that you were looking at last year as
Yeah.
a kind of a scary, sneaky playoff team. I still think that the Seahawks are making the playoffs this season.
They rebounded nicely after that stinker they put up in week 1 against the Rams with a win last week in Detroit and now a win this week against Carolina. Andy Dalton played pretty well in this game. It's just one of those things where there's more dudes on the fucking Seahawks than there are on the Panthers right now. The Panthers just don't have that great of a roster. Seahawks have DK, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Lockett, Zach Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker. Like those are dudes. And their first overall pick, Devin Witherspoon, was shut down on the outside during this game. He was getting tons of hype. Yeah. And then another thing for the Seahawks, I bet you forgot about this. Jamal Adams is coming back off IR this week, and he's going to play in the Giants game, make his season debut.
Yeah. I always thought Jamal Adams was a little bit overrated, but
it's still like a heart and soul of that D.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, you're excited as a Seahawks fan. Next game we got Cowboys, Cardinals. It looked like James Conner is back to being one of the best running backs, and from some of his plays he was having. Like, is he back from that kind of 2-year hiatus he took?
They ran all over the Cowboys. It did not matter what Dallas did in the box. Cardinals ran all over them. And then Josh Dobbs doesn't look that bad. Like 17 for 21 with 189 yards, a passing touchdown, 0 interceptions, 55 yards rushing. Like Josh Dobbs. Kind of makes you wonder, what do the Cardinals do? Like, where do they stay at? Like, are they going to keep trying to tank for Caleb Williams, Drake May, or are they going to just kind of stick with Kyler?
And I don't think that's a thing.
You don't think so?
Teams don't tank, especially in the NFL. Players don't tank. Like, you think Josh Dobbs is trying to lose football games?
He's trying to secure himself a backup role for his life.
Yes, that guy is trying to play his life away, and so are all these players on the team. Coaches can be told, hey, you're going to play these guys from management, but at the end of the day, it's those players, whoever you put out there, are going to give their heart and soul.
Dak with a really bad interception in the red zone.
Yeah.
Looked like Dak again.
Cowboys will be just fine.
Do the Cowboys have an issue of not are they going to be able to catch teams when they start slow? Like, they started slow in this game and they really didn't come back into it for a while. And then obviously got put away. The door got slammed.
Cardinals, though, all of a sudden, Cardinals don't look terrible because they should have won last week against the Giants too.
Could have won week 1 against the Commanders too.
Yeah. So you're looking at a team that's like feels good and feels like they should be 3-0.
Could be.
But again, Bears, Chiefs.
Oh my God.
Obviously, this game is, who fucking cares? I just want to kind of Chiefs are really good at football.
Chiefs dominated them.
And the Bears are really bad at football.
Yeah.
That's
that offense is in shambles. Literally not planning for the best defensive player on the Chiefs team. Like, no chips going on Chris Jones' side wherever he lined up. Like, no tight end over coverage on the tackle. Like, it was ugly. And then Justin Fields, like, I feel bad for him because he's a good player and he was good at Ohio State. And I just think he's in a bad coaching staff. And is Matt Eberflus good? Like, I don't think so. Is Luke Getsy good? No, I don't think so. And then they have the whole issue of Alan Williams, their defensive coordinator, having his house raided on Wednesday night. Like, what the fuck is going on with the Bears? Where are they?
Yeah, they're in Chicago.
Luckily though, The Bears have the Panthers pick. So every time the Panthers lose, Bears fans should be fucking going nuts. You have
Yeah.
your own pick and you have the Panthers pick. You could be looking at Caleb Williams and fucking Marvin Harrison Jr. in a fucking what, 8 months, 9 months?
Yeah. Um,
Taylor
going
Swift was
on.
at the game too. I don't know if you
Yes, everyone did. Steelers, Raiders, 23-18. Steelers played well. Looked like Raiders, Josh McDaniels had some bad coaching decisions from what I saw from,
yeah,
just sports talk radio. I would say, Devontae Adams had 2 touchdowns and 150.
172 yards.
Yeah, just playing his ass off, and it sucks. I love Devontae Adams with like everything in me, and it's sad to see him play on like irrelevant football teams.
It's like Randy Moss when he was on the Raiders.
Yeah, Randy Moss was on the. There's like stars that just go to play, and they don't, like Larry Fitzgerald on bad Cardinals teams. But
Yeah.
um,
Steelers defense is good. Steelers offense isn't good. This game I thought was going to be boring. It ended up being a little bit more exciting than originally thought. Why are you kicking a field goal down 8 and you have 3 timeouts when you're at fourth down on like the opponent's 20-yard line with time running out? Makes no fucking sense. Why are you like, what do you do when you cut the lead to 5?
yeah.
Um,
So next game we have the Eagles and the Buccaneers, which are playing as we speak. Just started in the first quarter, and that game we'll see. I got the Eagles -5.
Got the Bucks.
Yeah, I just think that's a game where it could be close, but I don't think it's gonna be close for the rest of the game. I think it could be close early, and I think it's gonna just eventually slip away. But you never
Baker
know.
Mayfield.
Rams, Bengals,
Joe Burrow's playing.
yeah. And do the Bengals get,
Is
back on
that
the right track?
is that a smart decision in your mind? Like he's hurt, clearly, like struggling, clearly. Why don't you shut him down for 2, 3 weeks and then like bring him back in? It's a 17-week season. It's not a like a like
Kyle,
I don't
have you heard of Aaron Rodgers and how many times he's played with a calf strain and his injuries? Aaron Rodgers has had his best football. He's played his best football in the playoffs, everything. If you look at all of Aaron Rodgers' highlights, 70% of them he's on a gimpy leg. And guess what? He's still one of the greatest quarterbacks ever played, and he plays amazing. Joe Burrow has like a very, I'm not going to say a similar skill set. He doesn't have the same like tangible skills that Rodgers did, but he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He
I
can
just
still be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know if that was the smartest thing if like him starting the season.
Well, they just got to make sure their game plan isn't, play
Yeah,
action deep
their
balls.
offensive line sucks. So,
Yeah.
but Rams, we'll see what the Rams got. You have the Bengals in that game. I got the Rams. So we're head to head in both these games, and we're both
All right.
3-1 coming out of Sunday.
Yeah. So we'll go into this next one. Thursday night football. We're going to go to second down, preview week 4 matchups. Lions at Packers, 2-1 teams. Decides going to be who's in the front runner of the NFC North. Packers are very inconsistent but talented. That's what I have for them right now. Is I think they're a very talented team, especially when all their healthy players
Yeah.
are on the field. But they're going to be super inconsistent and frustrating to watch. Lions are, I would say, probably the opposite right now. If you're looking at like a team Lions are talented, but they're one of the more consistent teams that you can see on offense with Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator. That team consistently plays complementary football. So
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of opportunities for the Packers to pull away, especially like in a situation they did last week. But
In your mind, how do the Packers win this game?
Aaron Jones has to play football. We need Jair Alexander on the field to help cover Amon-Ra St. Brown. And it's going to take 2 turnovers. And Jared Goff, we're going to have to get in his face every fucking drive. Like it's going to have to be Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Lucas Van Ness, Kenny Clark. Those guys are going to have to be swarming. And we can't let them run the ball down our face.
Lucas Van Ness, like, what do you think about him? That was your first round draft pick. Like, I've watched all the Packers games with you. Haven't seen much of him.
He's been hurt.
Okay.
So week one, he he played well and he played a lot. And everyone was saying that they need to play him more. Week 2, he gets out there, he gets hurt in the first half of the
Yeah.
Falcons game, doesn't come back. And then he was a game time decision to play. Week 3, he played, but he played sparingly. So people might say, "Oh, Lucas Van Ness isn't right." I don't think that's the case. Also,
Okay.
Lucas Van Ness is a project. I don't think he's like a Rashawn Gary wasn't good his first 2 years of football. Like
Hmm.
he was very like just average, and but
Hmm.
you could tell he was going to be good because he had so much talent. I think
Hmm.
Lucas Van Ness is similar.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
I
Anyways,
de- I definitely agree that if you're gonna win this game, you're gonna have to hit Goff. You're gonna have to hit Goff, and like you got to contain Jahmyr Gibbs. Those are your two things.
yeah, I like the receiving core. They're sneaky good offensive,
Hmm.
like as far as playmakers. But next game we got Falcons Jaguars, a really good matchup. Is that a London game? It looks like
That's a London game.
that's
That's the Toy Story game.
that one. So
You don't know about the Toy Story game? So they're gonna do like a little thing on Nickelodeon where like it looks like the whole game is gonna look like Andy's bedroom and be like a Toy Story atmosphere. The players are gonna be like toys and stuff. They're gonna do this whole AI thing. It looks pretty cool.
this is weird. I'm excited about it. That I love when there's a London game because it turns from 10
Not
hours to 13 hours of football.
Yeah, 9 a.m. football.
So yeah, that's gonna be a good game. Jacksonville's favored 3 points. I'd probably say that's fair, although the Falcons, yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a close one.
It's gonna be a get right game for the Jags. And
Yeah.
then I like Desmond, it depends on like Desmond Ritter. Does he turn the ball over? Does he suck? In order to keep the Falcons in the game. But I like that's a the Jags have more dudes. Like they got more dudes than the Falcons. And
And
the
then
biggest one of them all is Trevor Lawrence. So
okay, and then this is probably gonna be the most hyped game. Dolphins Bills,
yeah.
1 p.m. Buffalo's favored by 2.5 points.
Hmm.
I mean, Bills are my Super Bowl pick. You look at these two teams, and right now, like these guys both have so much steam, and that's a gosh, that's going to be such a good game. I can't imagine that game not being like a close, just nail biter.
Yeah. Both teams have put up pretty big numbers the last 2 weeks on their opponents. Bills looking up at the Dolphins in the standings, so Bills know that they're at home this time, so they know that they got to win this one.
Yeah,
Um, will the Bills defense be able to contain that high powered offense of the Dolphins? They did it. They were what was it? Christmas Day last year. It kind of was like a boat race, like just points left and right.
yeah.
Um, it's not going to
Broncos,
be super cold, so might help out the Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah. Uh, Broncos, Bears. I thought this one was funny. There's a few memes going around. Broncos, they're the first team to give up 70 points and then be a +3 or 3.5 point favorite going against the Bear. Like as a Bears fan, you're playing a team that just lost by 50 points and they are favored to beat you. They haven't won a game either, and they're favored to beat you by more than a field goal.
They both got smoked this week. You
Yeah,
Broncos lost by 50 and the Bears lost by 38. Like and the Bears was a field goal at the last minute to just put points on the board and not be a blowout. And the Chiefs took out their first string very early in order to get like to stop the bleeding.
yeah. That's a pick 'em game in my mind. I could see either team. I could talk myself into winning that game just in my
What
head.
what gives what do odds makers see that the Broncos should be favored 3.5? Not be even.
I think a Sean Payton fueled team that's frustrated
I
and
guess that's
mad,
it.
and he's got the pedigree. And you look at the Bears, and they have no pedigree. Russell Wilson, even like Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, they've been to Super Bowls. They've won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
There's something within them, whether it's gone, washed up, away. You don't know if it's going to come back, but they have a shot. You look at
Yeah.
Justin Fields and that offense, and they look like they There's a lot of issues again, but they're
A lot of
talented.
issues.
But anyways, another great game, Ravens Browns.
Yeah,
That's one that you look at and you're like, that's a huge pivotal matchup in the AFC North. Browns are favored by 2.5, which is unique. Which I'm not saying it's not warranted. I
they're
think
home.
that's going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah, they're
And
the Browns are home, so that's definitely why they're favored. I'm not I am not confident going into this game. The Browns are bad against the Ravens in history. They always it's the same thing with the Steelers. The Browns can beat the shit out of the Bengals. This Ravens and Steelers, Browns cannot fucking beat them. And especially in the Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh era, they are not good. And Lamar Jackson always torches them. I'm not confident going into this game. If the Browns had Nick Chubb, I would have more
yeah,
oomph to be like, maybe we can do this. Without Nick Chubb, I'm like, I don't know, man.
if I feel like the only way the Browns can really like make this game theirs is if Deshaun Watson can capitalize.
Plays a
And
game like he just played.
yeah, if Deshaun Watson puts another game together like he did, he'll cement himself as a starting quarterback again in the
Yeah.
NFL. Like,
And then if the defense fucking plays like they've been playing, we're in
then
every game.
yeah, for sure. Steelers Texans, another game that I think is a really good matchup. Texans are no just pushover. Steelers are going to come in there right now. It's their 3-point favorites.
Yeah. I think the Texans have a better offense than the Steelers.
I would agree.
The
I also think
Steelers
this,
defense is just so much better.
yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go with that. I just think it's not a really fair matchup for when I say fair, I just don't think the Texans are going to be able to, you know, stop stop the Steelers as well as the Steelers going
Yeah.
to fucking just the time of possession is going to decide that game. Najee Harris might get 57 carries for 73 yards, but they are going to be just fine.
Yeah, I just don't think the Texans can scheme up something that's gonna like blow the Steelers out of the water that like just completely owns their defense. I just don't think that that's gonna happen. I could see this game. The over under on points is 41. I could see that going over like very easily. Like a 28 to like 24
You think
game.
41 that goes over?
Yeah.
I was going to say I think it's going to be like a low scoring game. Um okay, I was just writing down the matchups. We got Steelers Texans. We just talked about Texans are 3-point underdogs. And then we got Vikings Panthers. Yeah, you already mentioned this one. 2-0-3 teams, the Adam Thielen Bowl. Which team's going to put it together to get their first win? Vikings should be favored by far. I think the Vikings win this game handily.
Do you think they just
They
put a
are they
pounding
are
on
a
them?
good team. I think the Vikings are a good team.
Do you think they just put a pounding on them?
It's going to be. I mean, other thing you got to understand is Panthers have a good defensive line, but if you can,
Didn't look that way against Seattle.
well, because guess what happens? If you can't convert and stay on the field on offense, your defense gets tired, and so Brian
Vikings
Burns.
defense is the worst in the league.
Yeah, okay. They still have some players like Danielle Hunter, um, fucking
Harrison Smith.
Forbes. No, Forbes is on the Commanders. Fucking who they got one ball hot corner too.
Harrison Smith, I just know is the safety.
Yeah. Anyways, I still like the Vikings in that game. Rams, Colts. Colts are favored by 1 point. That could change after tonight, but
I have the Rams favored by 1.5.
I'm showing on ESPN right here on the app.
I've got it on FanDuel.
Rams, Colts. So I'll go. We'll use ESPN.
All right.
We'll go Colts -1. Um,
Interesting.
that's it. Yeah, it's interesting. Lots of. It's almost like I think Gardner Minshew is the reason why they're favored. I think if you have Anthony Richards starting in this game, you're like, I don't know if the Colts can beat the Rams. Like they're like, oh, Anthony Richardson versus Matthew Stafford. I don't think so. I think Rams can probably win this game. This is the last game without Cooper Cup, right? Minimum.
I don't know. I don't know his status of like whether
Is
he's
he
going to
coming
be
back soon or
back
not?
right after the
4 weeks.
4 weeks are up on the pup, or is he going to need more time? I don't know the answer to that. I haven't seen anything that says that he's going to come back next week. But again, I just wish Anthony Richardson didn't get hurt. I liked watching these rookies. Like he was fun to watch against the Texans. Um, I think that game is like a Stafford, just classic Stafford, 3 touchdowns, 250 yards, just picks apart the Colts defense because the Colts defense isn't great.
Now, here's another really good matchup. Buccaneers Saints. Jameis Winston back in quarterback. He'll be playing his old team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to probably be two-and-one teams coming off a loss. Huge game with big implications in NFC South. I don't think the Buccaneers thought they were really going to have a shot at taking control of the NFC South after in 4 weeks to the season. But like this game, I think if the Buccaneers beat the Saints here on the road and in the dome, you're looking at the Buccaneers and like you're confident as a fan that your team can at least get to
Compete.
9 wins, 10 wins, and be a playoff team.
If the Buccaneers win this game, they got to be thinking we can win this division because the
Yeah,
biggest competition they have is the fucking Saints.
yeah.
Biggest thing I think that's going to happen in this game is Kamara comes back for the Saints. He's got fresh legs. We'll see how that affects.
Kamara doesn't come back till week 5.
No, Kamara comes back this week.
Does he really?
He has a 3-game suspension.
Thank God for the Packers on that.
Yeah. But he comes back. So let's see how that affects the Saints offense all around. They'll get their running game going and they'll get him like those little dinks that they like to throw out of the backfield to him. I think it's again just falls on Baker Mayfield. What Baker Mayfield are we gonna get in that game is what I'm thinking. But he loves Mike Evans, and Mike Evans is a fucking game wrecker, and he's showing it this year.
Yeah. And then we got Commanders, Eagles. Eagles -7. I'm surprised it's not more with Sam Howell at quarterback. But again, Eagles aren't really connecting on all cylinders through 2 weeks. We'll see tonight if they connect and start playing like the Eagles of last year. But yeah, that'll be who knows? Maybe Commanders make it close. They do well on defense and they got some playmakers on offense that can just make a game interesting. But Bengals, Titans.
Uh, I would be. I want to say that I don't think the Commanders are going to put together 2 really bad games in a row. You know what I'm saying?
Because Riverboat Ron.
No, I just don't think they're going to have 2 really bad games in a row. So what'd you say the line was? 6.5,
7.
7? I could see them cover
I could too. I think that's a great lock of the week, though.
for them to cover or the Eagles to
Lock of
win.
the week is money line. Lock of
Yeah,
the week is money line.
yeah. What's your next game?
I got Bengals, Titans. Bengals -2 on the road.
Hmm.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I mean,
Titans
Titans just
can't.
got
Titans can't.
smacked.
Yeah, so they're gonna be mad. Bengals, you don't know yet, but they're coming off a short week and they're on the road. And all you can hope for is that Joe Burrow and that team get it back together.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people putting money on the Bengals. There's got to be because they're looking at the value of these like low spreads and they're just waiting for the Bengals to turn into the team of old.
and then also I would I would be willing to bargain that like the Browns did really well week 1 against the Bengals running the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Derrick Henry game early because the Titans offense is struggling. So they just start feeding the ball to Tractor Cito and he just starts taking it off. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But you got to remember Derrick Henry is now 30 years old. Kind of got the tread on the tires now. A little weaker. Maybe that'll play an effect in this game. But You said the Bengals were away and they're favored. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Um, Raiders, Chargers. Chargers are 5.5. Yep, 5.5 point favorites. That's going to be an interesting game. I think that's a close one. Uh, Chargers have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Banged up. Raiders have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, but it comes down to, do you trust Jimmy G or Justin Herbert? And I think that's why the line is the way it is.
Yeah, it's got to be you side with Justin Herbert. We'll see if Quentin Johnson can step into the Mike Williams role. It'd be crazy if Devontae Adams goes off again in
Yeah.
this game. Do you see that the Chargers are going to be without J.C. Jackson? He violated his probation, so he's probably going to be healthy scratches for a little while.
Is he really?
Yeah, he got arrested again.
Jeez Louise. Well, you hate that for JC Jackson and his church.
His church.
If he goes to church,
his prayer group.
if he goes to church, you just expect it.
Yeah. What do NFL players do? Do they go to church at 9 a.m. and then go to the game?
They have like a little chaplain, I'm sure, that walks around and just like gives them like Capri Suns and popsicles and then like says prayers with them. But I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either.
Patriots, Cowboys. Cowboys 7 point favorites in AT&T
How?
Stadium. I see both sides. I see Micah Parsons sacking Mac Jones 18 times.
I can see that too. And then Mac Jones with his dumb fucking face, like getting just like getting up every time and just having that like. But yeah, no, it's gonna come down to Dallas's defense against Patriots offense, and I would take Dallas's defense every day, even though they had a bad showing this past week.
Yeah. So we'll see. That's
could
be a sneak game.
Do you think that the biggest card that the Patriots are going to play is Zeke having a little bit of a revenge game?
Not against the Cowboys defense.
You don't think so? He's
James
going to run
Conner,
angry.
I know he will. He'll run straight into a line full of players that are gonna get him maybe 2 yards after he, keeps chugging along his feet.
Here's a good prop bet for you. Over under how many times does the Cowboys defense do the spoon feeding celebration when they stuff him?
I'll go 3.
3.
Because they're not gonna do to disrespect him.
I don't know, man. I think they would.
Okay, Cardinals 49ers. 49ers 14-point favorite.
That's a lot of points.
It is.
That's a lot of points to be. That's 2 touchdowns.
And the Cardinals, like we said, they're 1-2, but you could easily make an argument that they should.
Yeah. What would the world come to if in back-to-back weeks the Cardinals beat the Cowboys and the 49ers?
Yeah. Cardinals, all of a sudden, you've got to like consider them as like they're not one of the best teams, but like a team.
Playoffs, baby. Playoffs. Josh Dobbs.
I know Josh Dobbs is like, geez.
He posted a video today trolling the Cowboys because Micah Parsons does his podcast, and he was like, I have a picture of Josh Dobbs in my locker, and I'm throwing darts at him every day. And Josh Dobbs posted a video of him like getting darts thrown at him, and he was just like jumping out of the way of them.
It's funny. That is funny. Chiefs, Jets.
I think I might go to bed instead of watching this game.
I know. That's going to be one that you watch the first quarter and then you're done. But Chiefs minus 9.5 points. Surprised it's not a little more.
A lot of points.
Jets. It's the Jets defense that keeps it a little closer than what it would be.
We have spreads this week of 7 for Commanders Eagles, 5.5 for Chargers Raiders, 6.5 for Patriots Cowboys, 14 for 49ers Cardinals, and 9.5 for Chiefs Jets.
That's not a ton of big spreads in my opinion.
Really?
I think anything under 6.5 that's a close game.
Man, I don't know. This game, I seriously don't even think I want to watch it.
Seahawks, Giants, Monday Night Football. Giants are favored 1.5 points. Giants are favored against the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. I don't think
Why?
MetLife, you don't have an advantage. I don't see, I could see maybe the distance traveled. You're going from West Coast to East Coast.
I wonder.
They don't think the Seahawks have a great run defense. Maybe, I don't know.
Saquon come back?
Wasn't he close to coming back this week?
He said that he was going to give it a chance. He might have had a chance to play at that Thursday game, but he said if it was Sunday, he probably could have played. But having these 10 days off, maybe he's going to be back. But dude, 1.5 towards the Giants. Like the Seahawks are competitive against the 49ers. And the
Yeah.
Giants just got fucking steamrolled by the 49ers.
All right. What is your going in a third down? We got our lock
Lock in our upset.
and our upset. And to go back on our lock and upset of last, my lock was the Cowboys to beat the Cardinals. That didn't happen.
Ooh.
And then my upset was the Saints to beat the Packers, which
Ooh.
really wasn't the upset because they actually were favored come kickoff, but that's not the point. So Cole is 2-1 on locks and 1-2 on upsets.
I don't know what my lock of the week or upset was.
Yours were the Ravens and the Rams. So your lock was Ravens. The Ravens lost.
I lost my lock of the week.
So you are 1-2 on locks.
Yeah.
And then your Rams are the upset. So
yeah.
if the Rams win, you will be undefeated on upsets.
Yeah.
If they lose,
I'll be 2-1.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
I'm 2-1 on locks, you're 1-2, and I'm 1-2 on upsets. You are 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
So
Ooh.
as for your lock of this week, week 4.
Lock of the week from Kyle McCumber. My lock of the week. Lock me in with a Vikings victory over the Panthers.
that was going to be mine.
Was it? Fuck.
No, I didn't pick it though. I was going to. Mine is going to be the 49ers over the Cardinals.
49ers,
Cardinals. I like the Cardinals maybe plus 14, but I don't like them winning.
You just lost on your lock of the week to the Cardinals. Now you're doubling.
I'm doing it again. I'm definitely doubling.
I'm a crazy man. I'm doing it.
It's 49ers are humming. They're too good. But so I got the 49ers.
Who's your upset? Do you have an upset? I have 2 that I'm debating between, and neither of them are pretty picks.
What do you got?
I like the Colts against the Rams for some reason.
Colts against the Rams. Okay, that's yours.
Oh wait, are the Rams favored or the Colts favored?
The Colts are favored by 1.
Then that's not an upset. Never mind. Fuck it. Give me the Buccaneers against the Saints.
Bucks. Okay, I have the Dolphins over the Bills. Okay.
That's your team.
They ain't steered me wrong yet. All right, 4th down. Best matchup of there's a lot of good matchups. Best matchup and sneaky matchup.
Sneaky matchup. Watch this Broncos Bears game be a fucking good game for some stupid reason. You're shaking your head. I know you're shaking your head and you're like, that's going to be the ugliest matchup. Watch this game be like a 31-35 game for some stupid reason. Like the most weird shit happens and it's entertaining to watch because they're bad teams. When bad teams play, weird shit happens.
Yeah, I'm going to go right here. Best matchup. You got to go Dolphins Bills. You could also say Ravens Browns in there. but I'm gonna go Dolphins Bills. I think Lions Packers is also a sneaky matchup, but Steelers Texans is my sneakiest matchup. I think that game's
Damn,
gonna
you
be a
took
really
mine.
good, that's gonna be a really good football game.
Best Bears and Bears and Broncos.
Let's
My
hear that is the best one.
yeah.
You're
Oh, did I say my sneaky one? Is that my sneaky one? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
no,
my
that's the best one.
that's my best
That
one.
was your best. You
That's
said
my
that was your
best.
best.
Son of a bitch.
You
Messed that
better
one up.
ask for the Broncos Bears game on at 1 p.m. Idiot.
Um all right, so my sneakiest matchup. Because I totally fucked that up. Rams Colts. I don't know why. I like that game.
Okay.
Maybe it's the colors. I don't know, the uniforms. But
Yeah.
I want to see Stafford. I like watching Matt Stafford play.
Yeah. Me too. Okay. Now for our pick six to review, Kyle, last week you had the Lions minus 3.5. That covered. I also had that. So that's good. Then Commanders, you had the
Did
Commanders.
not cover.
They did not. So that's a no. I had the Steelers.
Yeah. Steelers won outright, so you're good.
Wait, was it
They were
even?
they were not they were the underdog. They had the points.
Right, you're right. So that's two. You had the Texans. That was good.
Outright win. Boom, baby.
Bengals.
Yeah, they haven't started yet.
Okay. Colts.
Outright win. Let's go.
Jets. No.
Loser.
Dolphins for me, yes.
Definitely covered 6.5 points.
Bucks for you.
They
Haven't played
covered
yet.
6.5 points in the first fucking quarter.
I also had the Texans. So I am 4-1. You are
4-1.
3-1.
What are you talking
Bucks and
about?
Rams. Bucks and Rams, you have to wait. I have Bengals. So I could potentially go to 5-1 and you would go to
Oh yeah.
3-3,
Yeah.
potentially. But so right now I'm 4-1. You are 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna split one of those games with the Bengals and Rams. Okay,
Bengals
so
and Rams.
pick,
Yep.
which pick puts us at, so we were 6-6. Now Cole goes to 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
Pick six. 10-7 with potential to go to
Yeah, I'm 9-7,
11-7.
potential to go to 11-7.
Yeah. No,
No.
you are,
Yeah, 1-3,
yeah, you're 9-7 potential. Yeah. You can
potentially.
go, yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
So
bad at
then
math here.
Cole.
So I
All right.
think we should, instead of how we do it, if we've been doing it where we both go 6 right in a row, I think we should go 1 and then 1. Like you pick 1 and then I pick 1.
Well, I'm gonna circle. See what I do. I circle my games, and I already have them. So we can do that. But let me look at give me 2 minutes to do some analysis. All right.
Uh, while Cole does his analysis, everybody go pick up some tequila high noons. They're delicious. I am not drinking one right now because I'm drinking water to replenish my energy. I think I'll make my first pick of the week. I'm going to take the Vikings minus 3.5. I really like the Vikings to come out and just absolutely smash the Panthers. I don't think the Panthers defense is as good as people think. And then Andy Dalton is starting at quarterback still. I know the Vikings defense isn't good, but going 0-3 and then potentially going 0-4 after you made the playoffs and had aspirations this year that were so high, I could see the Vikings throttling the fucking Panthers. Over under in that game's 45. I don't think we get that over. Or maybe we do. Maybe we do. I think we might get that over. What's your first pick?
All right. So I already have my 6 matchups. So I will hopefully, but I have the Vikings too. So
Do
that's
you?
just yeah. So that was I think the Vikings cover or not cover, but they win by 3.5.
What's your next pick?
I got the Lions -1 against the Packers. I think that's
Ooh,
I think the Lions take that game. And I think they
Lions
win.
-1.
I think the Lions win by 10 plus, to be honest. I don't think it's gonna be a close game.
10 plus. Sheesh. My next game, I'm going to take the Texans +3.5 against the Steelers. I think that the Texans offense can score points. I just don't think 3.5. I could see it being a field goal game, and I could see the Texans actually winning this game outright if they
I
play
think
their
it's three
cards right.
points. I think it's 3 points.
No, it's 3. All right.
Yeah. It is 3. Yep, Pittsburgh -3.
All right.
Okay, my next one I have is the Dolphins +2.5 to the Bills.
Yeah, you love the Dolphins this year.
I
Haven't
think
haven't haven't proven you wrong yet, so might as well keep riding that train, Cole.
it's gonna be a good game.
Hmm.
I wish we could just switch that game with Sunday Night Football, but
Yeah. I one more week and they could have flexed it.
what's with all these all the 1 p.m. slates are always so good, and then the fucking late games suck.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Um, the fact that this game is in fucking London scares me, but I just feel like the Jags rebound against the Falcons and they beat them by more than 3 points. So that's that. But the fact that the game is being played in London just scares me because weird fucking games transpire in London. The
So what do
Packers,
you have?
I have the Jags -3.
All right. I have the Bengals for my fourth. I think the Bengals cover -2 against Titans. I think the Bengals are going to come out here on Monday Night Football and handle business with Joe Burrow. And I think that line is going to change drastically come tomorrow and Wednesday, but I'm getting them at -2.
Yeah. Fifth pick, I'm gonna take Rams. You said that the Rams were
What's your fourth pick?
no, I got Vikings, Texans, Buccaneers, Jags, Rams.
Oh, I didn't see you had Buccaneers.
Rams are on the underdog in this, right? +1.
Rams are indubitably the underdog.
Yeah, I don't know why they're the underdog. Stafford's better than Gardner Minshew. I would, yeah, I don't know about that one.
I
Take
also
the
have the
Rams.
Rams. I also have the Rams in this game. So that's two
Rams,
that we have Vikings and Rams.
Vikes and Rams.
My last team I have is the Cowboys -7 to the Patriots. I think that game is a bloodbath. I think
Yeah,
that'll be a 14-point victory minimum.
Cowboys are angry after last week having just a fucking dud and then just absolutely poured on the Patriots, and then Zeke Spoon comes out. I could see that.
I would love I would love to see the Patriots win this game. I want to clarify that, but I just think that's not going to happen.
Uh, hmm. Give me the Chiefs to cover -9.5 against the fucking Jets. I don't think that game is going to be fucking close. I could easily see the Chiefs winning by 21 plus.
I agree.
The fact that game is going to be still Sunday night, and they're going to talk about the Rodgers injury so fucking much, and how bad Zach Wilson is so fucking much. Like, it's going to be sickening to hear. And like, I'm going to start, and I already feel bad for Zach Wilson, but Jets did it to themselves. They didn't go get a fucking backup quarterback, and they let Mike White walk away in free agency. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's your own fucking fault. You thought Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers would come in and fucking be a messiah and make this kid good? No, he wasn't good. He made one throw in shorts at a fucking pro day, and you guys drafted him #2 overall.
Close, but yes.
What do you mean close?
He had a good year at BYU.
He was okay.
Oh, Yeah.
It's BYU, dude. Like, he's not playing Bama. He's not playing Georgia.
I know.
He's fucking
He's
playing
Boise State.
Boise State in fucking Wyoming. Like,
Yeah. So was Josh Allen.
yeah, Josh Allen was 6'5".
Yeah. Okay.
And can run and is fucking fast and jumps over people and has a way better arm than this kid. Like,
Zach Wilson does have good arm. He just doesn't know what to do with it.
he has a good arm, but he can't fucking put it in the right spot. Garrett Wilson shouldn't have 5 fucking receptions for fucking 40 yards if Zach Wilson was good.
Yeah.
But another fucking week of NFL football on our fucking slate. These Monday night games are going on right now, and I desperately need A.J. Brown to outperform Devontae Smith in my fantasy league because I don't want to lose again. But that's another episode of MnM Going Deep. Cole's got Lambo on his lap now, so I don't know what's going to happen there. We'll see you guys next Wednesday for Week 4 recap, Week 5 preview. As always, thank you.